Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to
Hey,
the Healing
everybody.
Project.
We're here
We're glad
again.
to be back here with the Healing Project. We have an
Yes,
amazing guest on tonight, Miss Amber Jones. She's going to share her story, her testimony,
yes.
and hopes that when she shares her testimony with everybody, that it will be something that somebody can hold on to and grab onto, and then also use that the same techniques and walk the walk that she walked to be able to now.
Right.
I'm not going to tell her story. I'm almost let it out the bag.
Okay, don't
But
tell a
anyway,
story. Let her tell her own story,
but I
girl.
want, without further ado, I don't want to hold any longer. Let's welcome Miss Amber Jones to the stage, everybody. Amber Jones.
Yay. Welcome, Miss
Hey, Miss
Jones.
Amber. How are you, my dear? Can you
Hi,
hear
Miss
us?
Amber.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Hi, ladies.
Hello, hello, hello. Are you ready for the
Hi.
hot seat tonight?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear
Yes,
you
we can hear you. Yes.
Is there a delay?
a little bit.
Hello.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. Hi. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to hear your testimony.
I'm gonna go on my phone too.
Yes, yes, yes. So
There's
Miss
a
Amber's
delay.
going. It is a little bit of delay, but Miss Amber is
Yeah.
here with us on the Healing Project on tonight. She has an amazing testimony. So go grab you something to drink. Grab your notepad, notebook, whatever you want to do. Write on back of an envelope. So we're going to allow
Okay.
Miss Amber to share her story with us on tonight. Miss Amber, go ahead and introduce who you are to the audience,
Well, thank you
please.
guys for having me. It's always a pleasure when. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So thank you first of all for inviting me onto the show. So I'm Coach Amber J. I'm a life coach, a wardrobe expert, author, speaker, a mother of 3 boys, and a servant of God. So I'm
Yes.
just
Wow.
here to serve, and I'm just grateful to be able to be the one He chose to walk this out. So
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
That's
awesome, awesome,
awesome.
awesome. Now I've been, as we was talking a little bit before we came on stage, I was talking about how I was looking at your page. I won't say stalking your page, but I was looking at your
Look, I
page.
said she was
On-
I said she was trolling you.
whatever. But I've seen some amazing things that God has been doing for you in your life, for you and your babies. And I know how hard sometimes it is being a single parent, trying to make all ends meet, trying to make sure
Yes.
the house is taken care of, make sure the bills are taken care of, make sure the kids are taken care of. And in the midst of, sometimes as mothers, we end up losing ourselves,
Yes.
in the midst of providing for other people and caring for
Yes.
other people. So I want you, Miss Amber, to share with us your journey and where you are now. Uh-oh. Can you hear us, Miss Amber?
Can you guys hear me? I can
Yes,
hear
Yeah,
you.
now
ma'am.
Let
we
me.
can.
I'm gonna switch over to my phone
Okay.
so I
What's
can
up?
make sure you
There's a
guys
little
can
bit
hear me. I'm
of
gonna switch to my
feedback.
phone.
Okay.
Okay.
The enemy don't want this testimony to come on out, but it's coming out
You
anyhow.
know, he always trying, but he can't
Anyhow,
win.
anyhow. We gonna add Miss Amber. There you go, Miss Amber.
Okay, is this better?
Oh
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
The enemy
Yes.
tried it, but not today.
Okay, not
That
today,
part.
girl. Not today.
Yeah.
That part. That part. I
We
love
got
it. I love it. The Lord always have a ram in the bush.
Yes,
yes,
he do.
yes. So
Yes, yes,
again,
yes.
thank you. I don't know if you guys heard me, but thank you for having me. So just a little bit about my story. I came to Vegas in 2015 from a divorce, and I wanted to start over. So I came out here. God opened doors for me. I started coaching, doing well in my business, and in 2024, 2023, 24,
Mhm.
invested a lot of money into a really bad business decision. And I heard
Mm.
God tell me not to do it, but I went ahead and did it anyway. I was a little discouraged in coaching. I had invested in my coaching brand, and the person that I hired took a lot of money. And so I just was like, God, I don't want to do this no more. So I went into a whole nother venture that led me into completely disshuffled my whole life. I got evicted. I lost my car. I lost my business. I lost a lot of money, and I just didn't recoup. And so in the middle of that time, me and my kids were just disshuffled. And thankfully, in that, like, I didn't have to go to a shelter because I stayed with people. But you know how that is, staying with people. You have 3 children.
Right.
You know, people want to help you as long as it's beneficial to them. And so in that time frame, I still was dealing with a lot of pride, because you know, you finally get to a certain level in your business and your career, and you think you have it. And so it's like, I don't want to go back to a regular job. I don't want to go do this, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so
Right.
for a little bit, I was a little prideful. I started working a part-time job, and I'm not gonna lie, I lost a lot of faith, because I'm like, God, I thought I was obeying you, even though I knew stepping away from coaching was not what God called me to do. I went into another industry, and I got connected to the wrong people, and I found myself in that wayward space of like, I want God to bless what I tell him to bless. And we all know that God, you should tell God his plans, he gonna laugh at you.
You sure will.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
So I in that time, like, we were disshuffled, we were staying with different people. We went through a lot in that time frame, and I heard God say, go back into the industry that you know. And so I went back into property management. I humbled myself. Like, I worked 6 days straight. I was taking gigs as much as I could, doing side jobs, like really trying to do whatever I could to get me and my kids in a stable environment. I met this landlord. I was renting an Airbnb. I met the landlord, and he gave me an opportunity. And he's like, I told him my story. He had just bought a condo, and he's like, I told him my story. I'm like, look, I'm single with my 3 kids. Like, I got evicted. I've never had bad credit. I've never been in this I've never experienced this. And I just need an opportunity to get back on my feet. So he allowed me to rent out his place. And that allowed me to really get in position. The first thing I did was like repent to God, because I knew that the decisions that I made, I was doing them in my own way. And I wanted God to bless me. And he's like, no, not what I want. But more than anything, I think he wanted to show me that everything that I needed was already inside of me. And I was looking outside thinking, oh, if I do this, or if I go here, if I connect to this person. And he's like, I need you to connect to me, which is in you.
Come on. Yes.
So it was a lot of humility. It was a lot of humbling myself, and really saying, okay, God, I surrender. Your way, not mine. Like, I'm going to do things your way. My way is not working. And the landlord gave me an opportunity. Like I said, I went back into my field of property management, and I hustled. I mean, when I tell you, I faithfully worked 6 days straight, did side jobs, took on clients. Like, I was like, God, I'm going to show you that this time I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to do things your way.
Yes.
In the middle of that time frame, I didn't have a car because I lost my car. So I heard God tell me, like, I want to say maybe like 6 months into working, I started working on my credit, because I know how valuable credit is. If you have good credit, you can make moves that you can't make without them. So I heard God. So I started working on my credit. And I heard God wake up one day, and he was like, go to the car dealership. And I'm like, okay, God. Went to the car dealership, walked off with a brand new car. And I was like,
come on now.
Okay, God. But really, listening and obeying God and sacrificing, right? A lot of times we want God to do things, but we're not willing to sacrifice anything. And really changing the way that we think about things and seeing things. And in that time of like being disshuffled and in transition, God just kept showing me everything that you need is inside of you. Like if you just obey me, if you listen to me, you're still, I'm going to guide you to the right places, the right things. And thank God, like the landlord, the credit person that I met, that he knew my story, he knew what I was going through, and he worked with me and was like, you know, here, I'll help you with this, and you do this, you know, and allow me to pay him as I could. But I was like, God, this time I'm going to do things your way.
Yes. And that is so good because, you know, oftentimes, you know, like you said, we want to do things our way and we want God to do what we want to do and not what he wants us to do. And, you know, and sometimes we end up bumping our heads, but because we serve a merciful God and a graceful God, that, you know, he's always there, right there, even though we know we made a mistake and we went against the grain, we went against what he said. But because we serve an awesome God, that he still saw fit and he blessed you. And he blessed you with a comeback. You know, what you lost, you got greater. And you know, that's something that we as believers, and something else you said, that you lost faith.
How
many times do we lose faith? You know, going through our life situations, that we lose faith and like, God, why is this happening to us? You know, why am I going through this? You know, I thought I was doing right by you, but why am I going through this? So in the midst of you going through that, Amber, in the midst of you going through what you were going through, and I truly get it, and I feel it. Share with people and how you felt and how you maneuvered out of that. How did you push your way through what you were going through and still had to look your babies in the face and still have that smile on your face when you looked at your sons in the face?
One of the things that I truly believe is God says, if you do my work, I'll do yours. So in the middle of me and being honest with God, I want to say when I finally moved to the condo, I was on my face and I said, God, I'm angry at you. You know, I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. I don't understand. And in that middle of like the breaking, I felt like it broke me. And when I started to be honest with God, God started to move for me. And then when I didn't have a car, like I was taking an Uber, he's like, I started waking up with gratitude. And I said, God, who can I pray for today, God? Who can I bless today? Who can I encourage, God? Because even though I'm in a bad situation and I could be angry and I could be bitter, God, I don't want you to change my heart, God. Search my heart. And in that, I think my faith started to be restored, and I started seeking him and being honest. And I think a lot of times it's easier to blame, right? It's easier to point the finger and say, well, it's this person's fault. And I started asking God, show me myself, God. Show me, change my heart, God. And I started a Bible study with my kids. I started a prayer group with other women. Like I started to serve where I was, right? I stopped. I didn't allow the hurt and the disappointment to stop me from serving God. And I got honest with him. And so, and you know how God says, you know, what you put into your kids, it will come out of them. And so my kids would remind me, like, Mom, we need to pray today. Like, Mom, we're like, they started preaching to me when I didn't have the courage to keep going. But a lot of it really was humbling myself, you know, really just saying, like, I made these mistakes. Like, I have to acknowledge I made this mistake. Like, I invested in the wrong thing. I got ahead of myself, and this isn't nobody's fault but mine. So now I gotta take accountability, and I gotta be honest, and I gotta be real with myself. And I think a lot of times we don't look at the woman or the man in the mirror. We want to point the finger, even if it's at God, you know? So I think that was a lot of my reality, and my kids, thank God, my sons, everything that I put in them, they would simply remind me, like if I was frustrated or angry, and they'd be like, "You need to pray today." Like you need to pray. You know,
Like, what
out of the
you
mouths of
doing today?
babes.
Right. That part.
And then they also became my motivation,
You know,
because
something
I'm like,
you said,
oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead. You're
No,
good.
I said they also became my motivation, because they reminded me of who I was, you know, before I lost
Right.
everything. They're like, "Mom, you're amazing. Like you did it before, you
Come
could do
on
it again."
now.
So they
Come
encouraged
on.
me. And then I
Yes.
also surrounded myself, like I was in Bible studies, I was at church, I was seeking God, because I was like,
Okay.
I don't have the strength to do this alone, and I don't even have
Right.
enough faith to pray for myself right now. So I
Mm.
surrounded myself around people that could pour into me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. The connection, who you have to be mindful who you connected to, you know.
Yep.
And I like how you said that
Absolutely.
when you were going through and you didn't have enough energy in yourself to pray for your own self, but because you was connected to certain people or certain groups, you were able to get poured into. And that's very important, because oftentimes, especially as single mothers, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
raise your children, and if you have more than one, so you're spreading thin, because each child has a different personality. And so you're dealing
Yeah.
with the different personalities, then you're dealing with yourself. And then if Lord forbid if they become sick, now you have to, you know, and you still have to take care of your sick child, or even if you're sick, you still have
Yes.
to move forward and
Mm-hmm.
take care of the household, even in
Yeah.
your sick time. And you know, and I think that a lot of people, they don't take heed, or almost say take heed, or don't recognize what mothers really go through. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
they don't
You
recognize
don't
the
know unless you're a mother yourself.
right.
Yeah.
And you don't recognize the
Mm-hmm.
sacrifices that you do, you know, and sacrifice that you have to have just to make sure your kids are okay, even if you're going without, long as your children are okay,
Yeah.
you know. And that's our priority, even though they said self-care. But in that moment when you're going through, you don't even think about self-care.
You
No.
sure don't. You just think about them kids.
And
And
I
you
Yes.
gotta make a
remember,
way out of no way.
I remember when I first got evicted, my ex-husband, he called and he was like, "Well, just send the kids with your brother." And I was like, "I'm not leaving my kids. Like, I don't
Yeah, that's
care.
right.
We're gonna figure this out." Like, I'm not. I know of, based off of my own history, my mom left me. It was like, I'm not gonna go down that same path and send my kids somewhere else, because a lot of
Mm,
times we never come
yeah.
back from it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, I'm keeping
Mm,
my kids with me, so this will make me get up and this will make me move the way that I need to move,
yeah.
you
Yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
because sometimes
Yeah.
what I've seen in my own life, like my mom didn't come back because she's like, well, my kids are taken care of, they're safe over there. And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not,
Mm-hmm.
my kids, I'm not leaving my kids. Like, we're gonna thug this out together, we're gonna stay together, and we'll figure this out. And then I asked my kids, because then I didn't want to be selfish neither. My kids were like, Mom, I'm not leaving you. Like, I don't want to go nowhere.
Aw,
We're gonna be okay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I,
okay.
that motivation made me like, I can't give up. I can't quit. Like, yes, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm exhausted, but I gotta make this happen. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Right. And even in the midst of that, Amber, believe it or not, you broke a generational cycle,
Yes.
uh,
Yep.
with
Yep.
your being left as a child, and you know how that felt. So you broke that in your situation. You broke that, and you
Yeah.
said, "No, I'm not leaving my kids. We're gonna thug it out together." And I like that, because it shows your
Mm-hmm.
determination and it shows your tenacity, as a woman, as a mother. And you said, "Nah, we go together. We're a unit." So you know,
Yeah.
when I move, they move just like that.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I'm
and you
glad to
know
see
what?
that.
What I took from all of that, Amber, it was in your humility, being able to be humble,
Yes.
that God began to move for you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
Because sometimes we we get so prideful and we don't want to, admit that we going through stuff or want to
Mhm.
tell our business. But,
Mhm.
the fact that you became humble is
Yes.
what moved God. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand that. You got to be humble. You
Yeah.
can't be
Yes.
like, I. You got to
Yeah.
humble yourself and say, I need you. I
Yeah.
need your help. I can't do this by myself. And that's
Yes.
when he begins to move. So I appreciate that. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
that that was awesome. That
And
was
I think
awesome.
sometimes, thank you for that. I think sometimes when we're in the breaking, we're like, God, you're making me suffer. But it's like God wants to break what's inside of you that's keeping
Yes.
him
Yeah.
from blessing you. Um,
Mhm.
and I think my humility allowed other people to help me because I had strangers come and help me. I had like I
Mhm.
said,
Mm.
the credit guy, hearing my story and me being honest and saying, hey, I don't have all of this up front, but I'm willing to work with you, and being
Right.
honest with the landlord
Mhm.
that came along. I'm like, hey, this is my situation. This is what
Yeah.
I'm going to do. And this
Mhm.
man, the landlord, he literally furnished the whole apartment to
Come on now.
silverware,
Wow.
spoons, like
Wow.
blankets,
Yes.
See, look at
heaters,
God. Look at
because I
God.
was honest and I told him, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
in a bad situation. Like this is
Yes.
what happened. And he blessed me, and he allowed
Mm.
me to, stay in his place. And even and up until I bought my house, he was
Okay.
very supportive of me. He was very like
Good.
encouraging, and he checked on me and my
Yeah.
boys. And I,
Wow.
it was like you said, the humility of, and I mean, I've never been in this situation. I didn't come
Yeah.
from, my
Mhm.
though my mother left, my father took care of me, and we
Okay.
lived a pretty decent life. So I never came from struggle or loss or lack. So this is new to me. And then I'm
Right.
beating myself up because now I'm a mom with 3 kids and I can't provide from them, and I don't even know what this feels like. So there was a
Yeah.
lot of pride in me and a lot of, I could get it like this, and I think God really took that time to break it in me and say, like,
Mm.
Mhm.
break that pride and that ego and be willing to help, because I've always been the person in position to help other people. So to
Yes.
ask
Mhm.
for help was very humbling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very
Because
humbling.
you was a giver and not a receiver.
Yes.
And sometimes
Yeah.
that happened for me as well. I was always giving, but it was hard for me to receive. But then when
Mm.
God, began to reshape and mold and through my own son taught me how to receive. And
Yes.
so, it's a good thing because he had destiny helpers in place for you,
Yeah.
and it would have
Yes.
been hard to get that help to you if you were prideful,
Yes.
'Cause
You'd have been
you
blocking
know
your
what I'm saying?
blessings. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so awesome.
Your
Yeah.
story is
God
so
always
amazing.
has somebody in place
He does.
to
He
help,
absolutely does. And I was
always.
actually laying in bed before I reached out to you, Amber. I was laying in bed and I was looking at TV at first, and then I grabbed my phone, opened my phone, and your story that you had up there popped up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask her to be on the show, on the
Thank
podcast, because so many people, and especially in these times right now, are going through something, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
and we need to be encouraged,
Yeah.
and to see somebody else go through a situation where you lost, almost like Job, you lost, but
Yeah.
God replenished and He gave it back to you
Yeah.
Mhm.
double for your trouble. But in that, He like you said, He broke some things out of you,
Yeah.
but He wanted you to lean more on Him and not on other people.
Yeah.
And also too, in this whole situation as well, not only you learned the humility, you broke the cycle, but and also you broke the spirit of pride. But not
Yeah.
only that, you also um connections. I want to speak on the connections because the wrong connection
Mhm.
can cost you a whole lot of stuff. Being connected
Yes.
to the wrong person, putting your trust in wrong individuals, You know, instead of putting our trust in God, sometimes we do. We human. We do make mistakes. He said
Yeah.
we all gonna fall short, but we begin to lean on other people versus leaning on Him.
Yeah.
But then when you
Mhm.
turn it around, you begin to lean on Him. He began to open the doors for you. He began to show you, Amber, I'm right here for you. And I just want people to
Mhm.
see this tonight, that even though whatever you're going through, first of all, He's not a respected person. So if He did it for Amber, He'll do it for you.
He'll do it for
So if
anybody.
you're going
Come
through
on.
something, and like she got connected to the right source, she got connected.
Yeah.
She was plugged in where she needed to be plugged in at.
Yeah.
When she
Kingdom
wasn't able to pray for
connection.
herself, yes, when she wasn't able to pray for herself, she had other people in her circle, in her tribe, that was able to pray for her.
Mhm.
And that's very important, that we need to have this in these times. We need to be connected to the right source, because when
Yep.
I'm not able to pray for myself and I'm down, I want to be able, I can call you and say, sis,
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
you to pray for me right now. And knowing that your sister's
Yep.
not going, oh, what's going on? Give me the file, give me all the details. No, you don't need the details. Just know your
Yep.
sister's in need right now.
Mhm.
She needs you to stand in a gap and in agreement with her and just pray.
Yeah.
Yep. And sometimes when you have that divine connection with someone, you know when they going through. You can
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you'll just begin to be like, sis, let me pray with you.
Yeah.
You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
And it ain't
Mhm.
even you asking them anything. You just say, sis, let me pray with you. Because you can
Right,
feel that. You can see the look on their face because you've been around them and you know what they happy looks like. And you also
right.
know what the sad looks like as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's good when you do have those divine connections that person could depend on you and you could depend on that person,
right,
praying for you and encouraging
right.
you. And when they ready to do something, you 10 toes down with them. Like, come
Yep.
on, what you want to
Yeah,
do? How you
yeah.
Yep.
want to do
Absolutely,
it?
Yeah.
Like, let's
absolutely.
go,
And I want to bring up
So
something
that's
else that's
good.
very important, is obedience.
Mm.
Yes.
We talk a lot about faith, but faith also is moving in obedience. And
Yes.
to fast forward to, not only did I get a car, I bought a house with zero down.
Come
I
Come
didn't
on.
pay
on.
anything. And the obedience is, someone reached out to me and they're like, hey, there's an opportunity. I know what you were going through, and I know that you told me you didn't want to move into another house, you wanted to buy a house, so
Right.
take this opportunity. And me and this person were kind of at odds at the moment, but
Mm,
I heard the Holy Spirit say, go. And I'm like,
yes.
Mhm.
okay, God, all right, let me go. And again,
Mhm.
the humility and then obedience. And so when I went to go look at this house that I'm in
Mhm.
now, I fell in love, and I'm like, okay, but I had no clue what the process was. I'm just thinking, like, I'm gonna just go look at this house and that would be
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when I came to look at the house, they asked, like, well, do you have money to put in escrow? And I was like, well, I wasn't prepared for that. And
Uh-huh.
literally 3 days late, well, I told her, I said, well, I get paid on this Friday, let me see, I know I want to move. But
Uh-huh.
3 days later, a client reached out, paid me in full the exact amount that I needed to put in escrow
Come
to hold
on.
the
Look at
house.
the Come on. Come
Oh,
on.
And
yes.
so a lot of
Yes.
times we miss things because we think we didn't obey, right? And faith is,
Uh-huh.
sometimes you got to step out on crazy faith. And I
That's
told,
it.
when I left that day, I was like, man, I didn't know I was gonna have to put money down. I didn't know any of those things. And God said, will you trust me? Will you trust me? And literally
Mm.
3 days later, I got a full payment, was able to put it down on escrow for this house. Um, and
Yes.
and then in the end of my closing, I got my money back. So it
Come
was
on
like,
now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Come on now.
Won't he
That's
do it?
that
Won't he do
favor.
it? Won't he
That's
I
that
mean,
do
when I
it?
favor.
he blew my mind, not to the point, like I said, I got evicted, so I lost a lot of stuff, furniture and everything. And I remember telling God, like, I want everything brand new,
Yes.
because I
Mhm.
put myself in position. One of my friends worked at a furniture store. They gave me a really good deal on all brand new everything, brand new couch,
Come
Come
bed,
on.
on.
everything. And when I tell you, we begin to obey and trust God and follow him, and he'll give you back double. But it's like, will you go through the process? Will you stay in the fire long enough that you will come out like pure, you know, and not smelling like smoke? But a lot of times that process is not easy, and
it's not. But
get out of self.
It's real. Absolutely. You need to do it, man.
Yes, you've been teaching. You gave a word tonight, because obedience.
Yes.
Obedience is sometimes connected to your blessing, but we have to learn to obey. And oftentimes we don't want to obey because it's hard for us. Well, we think it's hard.
Yeah.
And you be obedient and you obeying when the Holy Spirit told you to go, and you went. And what would have happened if you wouldn't have gone? So that you would have missed everything that God had lined up for you. Why? Because you let that pride get in the way. And that's what happens. Oftentimes we allow that pride to get in the way. And Holly said there's a blessing in obedience. Yes, ma'am, it is. It truly is.
Yes,
there is a blessing. Yes,
it is.
Yes.
And absolutely. Even to the person, the realtor that helped me, if I would have let the offense of what happened with us, I could have missed it too because of my offense. And a lot of times we hold on to grudges and malice and anger and goodness. God says he'll use your enemies to bless you, but if you so caught up angry at them, you won't even get blessed.
That part. That part. I think everybody missed that part. Yes, he will use your enemies to bless you. Come on. Yes, he will. He will.
As your footstool.
Yes, absolutely. That's the Bible. That's the word.
And this the cold part. Them same people that was going around being town criers talking about you and all of this stuff, they turn around and they singing your praises.
Yep.
With the same mouth.
Yep. Yeah.
With the same mouth.
Absolutely. There's always, and in that lesson, because that's you went through a lesson, you went through that test, passed that test, because again, if you weren't obedient and if you didn't believe in the Lord that we serve, you could have missed the whole kit and caboodle.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? It also, one other thing to say, like, when I moved from the condo, I went to the condo, and then the owner had a house. So we moved to a house, but I told the owner, I said, I don't want to move into this house because it's more than my budget, but I want to buy a house before the end of the year, because I had already been positioning myself and preparing like my credit and my mindset and just things like that. And so he said, well, let's sign a 6-month lease and let's see, maybe I can sell you this house in 6 months. And so I'm like, okay. And I just followed it. It didn't make sense to me, but the unction of the Holy Spirit, and this is why we have to be so in tune to God, because literally I was supposed to close in February, which would have mean I would have still had to pay 2 more, like the rent and a mortgage. But my lease actually ended in February during the 6 month, and I closed my house March 13th. And so it's timing and obedience.
God is so awesome. He's so awesome. The way he'll line things up for you, and he just, you don't know what he's doing behind the scenes.
Yes.
But when it all comes into fruition, you just be like, man, your mouth
open.
Come on, everything just be blown.
Wow,
like you just like, you really did that? You really did that.
It's like I still look sit in my room like, oh God, like I'm a homeowner. And that's another major thing that, and I'm preparing, my book is out for pre-sale, is the mindset it takes, because we say we want to be rich. God bless us with all this money, give us all of this, but we don't know how to steward it. We don't know, we don't even have the capacity or the mindset to understand money, right? Or the wealth. And there was a change, like you said. I broke some generational curses, but I also broke through some blessings as well, because now, God, I get to show my kids that homelessness doesn't mean that's your end. It was a new beginning for me. And so that shift of understanding finances, understanding biblical principles about what God wants and how to use certain things, it's just a whole shift in what God was doing for me in that season. But it was in the breaking that he had to prepare me for this season.
Yes. But you also planted seeds in your children, because now they see mama did this. Even though she was going through obstacles, mama still came out on the other side. Mama still did this. And that right there, for young men anyway, to see that and see their mother persevere anyhow and made it happen, that does something to me they would never forget. And it was like, okay, my mama did it. She did that, you know. And so now they will say, now we can do it too. Mama did it, we can do it too. And it's always, and it's good, because now your kids seen it. Now they're able to tell other people, this is what my mom did. My mom did this, so I know it can be done. My mom did this. So it'll always keep going, because your kids are going to keep it going, and kids are going to tell whomever they're around, whether it be family members, whether it be friends or whatever. My mama did that.
And not only that, I really show them that God did this, because they seen I didn't have no money. They seen someone out of the blue, and I'm like, God connected that. That was divine. Even recently, we got a second car, which was my 20-year-old son got his car, but I showed him how to position himself. I showed him how to get put in position to get a car and all of these things. But I also showed him like how God moves when we obey, how God moves when how to sacrifice these things. And so I got double, right? I lost one car, but now we got two cars. I lost my apartment and he put me in a home. So it's like, but it was in the breaking. And I always tell my kids, like, even they had a good life before the eviction, before all of these things, because I financially had it. But you were ungrateful. You know, you didn't you didn't appreciate, you didn't realize that these things took away from you. And now that they are, now that you have them, you need to say, God, I thank you. You know, I'm grateful. And those are the things that we forget too in the process of the breaking things of what he prepared us for. So now my kids are very grateful. They're very much like, man, God is so good. He is so faithful, because we got to see his hand at work in real time.
Absolutely. That is so amazing. This is a great testimony.
A good testimony. Well, a great testimony. Awesome testimony. That the goodness of God, where you can literally speak your truth and your belief in God, and show another person like, hey, you know, you give your life to Christ, these are the things that he can do for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to just give lip service, but when you have things that happen to you in your life that you got proof of, and these people seeing how God is moving in your life, they like, man, you know, I want to know him. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to, you know, to discipleship, you know, showing, you know, because we can't keep it all to ourselves.
No.
We can't keep everything that God does for us. We can't keep it under wraps. We have to tell people, because that's the only way that they know that God is for real. Even though you can't see him, you know, because people be like, well, you can't see him. You see what he's doing, right?
Yeah. And it's like, it's so, God is so real in my life that I can't make this up. Like, it's not a coincidence.
Come on. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't, even the landlord, I didn't know him. He didn't know me.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was on his heart to say, I'm gonna go pay.
Yes.
He made sure we had spoons and spatulas.
Yes.
I could have made that up.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
And you know what, Amber? He was obedient as well.
yes.
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 But
You know
he
what
don't
I'm
know
saying?
that he
He
blessed
was
he blessed
obedient.
you.
You know what
He
I'm
blessed
saying?
you.
He
gonna get a
did
blessing
what
for you.
God placed on his heart to do. He was
Yeah.
obedient in that and blessing you, you know? And
Yep.
so God is going to really bless him so that he can be a blessing to more and more people that
Yeah.
may come his way in your situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it also softened his heart to see that there's like I was a woman of my word, right? And that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
We gotta honor our own words as well.
We
Like
do.
no
We
more
do.
lip service. If you say you're
We
gonna do
do.
something, do what you say you're
Come
gonna
on. Yes. Ooh,
you want God to bless you
obedient
and
all
honor
the
you, but
time.
you don't do the same thing for other people. And like I said, I am so like in the midst of my hurt, I looked for people. God, who can I pray for? Who can I bless?
Yeah.
Who can I help
Mhm.
so that you could take care of me? Because I know that if I do something for someone else, you're gonna take care of me. And I had to get out of
Right.
the line of
Yes.
that victim selfish woe is me. Like God,
Mhm.
I
Right.
might be in a bad situation, but there might be somebody worse than me. Let me
Yes.
encourage them. Let me speak a word into them and not so much focus on myself, and then God begin to flow into my life.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
That is so good. And even want to give a shout out to the
Ooh,
realtor too, who actually, did their thing
obedient.
Yeah.
as far as working and doing what
It
they
was
need to do to
like
get you
everybody was
home. That's
obedient
a
in
good
what they were
thing.
supposed to do. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
They all
Yes.
were obedient. Like,
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you were in there, that God put people in your life to do some things for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
And lastly, I want to just share with the people like I sit and think about I wrote the vision and I made it plain. Like in the midst of my stuff, I didn't just sit and wait for God. Like I wrote the vision, I made it plain. I did the work. I put myself in position to be used to get those things, because a lot of times when we're in bad situation, we're waiting for someone to come help us. And God is like, I gave
Yes,
you everything
ma'am.
inside of you that you needed. I gave it to
Yeah.
you. Now just obey what I'm telling you to do and go follow it. So even when I share my vision with the realtor, like I don't want to just rent anymore. I don't ever want someone to
Okay.
be
Mhm.
able to take something away from me or my kids again. So I spoke out the vision. I wrote the vision. I started to work in the vision. And so faith without works is dead. So those are other
Absolutely.
tools that people don't use. Like we're waiting for this God outside in the sky when God is in us. God is in us.
Yes.
Mhm.
Listen, you can
Yes.
hear, and He gonna tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. It may be crazy. It
Yeah.
may not make sense to other people, but we serve a crazy
Right.
God.
You're right.
Um,
Okay.
so I
He'll
think
make
those
some
things
things happen
were
for his children.
Yes.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
good. And let's talk about your new podcast coming out. When is the drop date?
So it's actually this Wednesday at 2 p.m. It's called Key Talk, and it'll be on all social media platforms. And I have my
Okay.
co-host Harvey
Okay.
Perry Sr.
Okay.
That will be
I'll
Yeah.
tune
co-hosting.
in.
Yeah. So, and even that's such a blessing. Harvey was one of my first male coaching clients in 2017, and God put it back on
Okay.
him like, "Where's Key Talk? Where's your podcast?" And I'm like, "I ain't really been doing it." And he's like, "We need to start." I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, so we're focusing on mental health, especially with men right
Good.
now.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Sharing our
That's really
testimonies,
good.
having those real uncomfortable conversations, healing,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
doing the work. So
Yes,
it's gonna be
yes,
good.
yes. That's good. And Harvey's doing some good things. I remember I met Harvey. Ooh, it was I want to say 2017. We were actually at an event that Clark County was giving for the youth. And he happened to sit next to me in the conference, and we was talking about our organizations and stuff like that. And then he's like, and he gave me some good pointers and stuff. And then I hadn't seen him anymore. And then recently I started seeing him more and more. He's going out speaking and doing things, in the communities. And he's doing really well. He is. He's doing really well.
Yes, he is. I'm so proud and excited and grateful. I'm like, I get to be connected to you, HB, so yeah, it's just so thing. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And it's so good to see a Black man to share their story and even talk about God out loud, bringing back into the streets. Like, without God, I'm nothing. So I'm super excited.
That's it. That's it. This was I enjoyed listening to your story. And I hope that everybody took some nuggets from it. But before we close, Amber, if anybody's listening, what advice can you give someone that is going through some hard times right now?
I would say don't quit. Don't quit. No matter how hard it feels, no matter what your circumstance looks like, don't quit. Tomorrow, in an hour, in a blink of an eye, your whole situation can change. But it can't change if you quit. So do not quit. Keep showing up. Keep being faithful. This situation is only temporary. It may feel long suffering, but it's very temporary. And and in the midst of it, before you quit, ask, what do I need to learn? What lesson do I need from this? What can I take from this to keep going? But do not quit.
That's good.
Thing is do not quit.
Yes, that's real good. And Wendy, do you have anything you want to say before the end of our show?
Just piggyback off of her, and be humble, while you're going through your situation, and just trust God, because He got you. Long as you're being humble, and long as you're being obedient, and long as you're doing His work, He got you taking care of His business. He got to take care of you.
Absolutely. And that is so good. So that is so true. Obedience. Remember, obedience is connected to what? Your blessing.
Yes.
So being obedient to the Lord and listening and having the ear to hear when the Holy Spirit speaks. And even times we do hear Him speak, we still, some of us is hard-headed. We just don't want to listen. But because we serve, because who we serve a merciful and graceful God. And so even though we mess up, He know we're going to do it before we even do it. But He's always right with open arms, welcoming us back in and still blessing us anyhow and giving us better than what we lost.
Okay.
Yes.
Giving us better.
What else I should have said too is when you give your word, be true to your word. That's all you got. Your word is your character, and if you like sign up, say you're gonna be a part of something, show up and do what it is that you're supposed to do. If you're not that person that's gonna do it, don't sign up. Don't, be a monitoring spirit. Be a working person. Be a servant. Don't give your word and say you're going to do something and you don't, because you're letting other people down because they depending on your word. So let your word be your bond and let it be real,
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. And I just want to say congratulations on your new home.
Thank
and
you.
Your new
Congratulations.
This is only the beginning.
Yes.
And so, I
is your podcast every Wednesday or once a month?
It's going to be every Wednesday.
Okay, every Wednesday at 2?
At 2, yep, at 2 p.m.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
And I pray that God will continue to bless you in your endeavors and in your business, that it'll touch more and it be nationwide, where you're able to help people, because Harvey is doing some great things. And if you was his coach, then we know you're doing good things, because he's doing good. Because like I said, I hadn't seen him in a while. He was ghost for a minute, and then all of a sudden he came out and he was out. When he came out, he was just out.
Yeah.
And his wings were spreaded. So continue to do what you do for the kingdom of God. And you do his business, and he'll do your business.
Amen.
Yes.
Well, thank
Absolutely.
you, ladies, so much. I thank you that you said yes and you obeyed and you had me on the show. I pray prosperity and abundance over this podcast as well, and continue to spread and heal the word for God's people, because we need it. We need it. So
Absolutely.
thank
And
you.
likewise with
Thank
yours.
you
Yes.
for sharing your story, because that was amazing.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was. Have a blessed night. Thank you, Miss
All right.
Amber.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Let me see.
Are we having technical difficulties? Hey, Miss Holly, thank you so much for joining us. You always tuning in, and we appreciate it. Hope you are having a blessed week. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're having a little technical difficulties, but that's okay. And I just pray that you have a blessed week. Pray that you have a blessed rest of June. We're 6 months in already in the year. That's crazy. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Healing Project. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.